Jeannette Rankin. Do you know who the first woman ever elected to Congress was? That woman was Jeannette Rankin, a peace activist, a suffragist, and a reformer. She has tried her hand at a few things, such as being a school teacher, seamstress, studying furniture design, and even social work, before she became interested in women's rights and politics, which is what she is best known for today. Before Jeannette was elected to Congress in 1916, she had tried a few other careers. She attended Montana State University in 1902 and graduated with a Bachelor's of Science degree in biology. She then became a school teacher, later on trying her hand as being a seamstress and studying furniture design. Then on a trip to Boston to visit her brother at Harvard, she was inspired by the poor conditions to take up social work. She became a resident of the San Francisco Settlement House for 4 months, and then entered the New York School of Philanthropy. After she finished school, she returned to the West to become a social worker at a children's home. She then attended the University of Washington in Seattle and became involved in women's rights. She became involved with the women's suffrage movement in 1910. For the next 4 years after joining the women's suffrage movement, Jeannette traveled back and forth across the continent, speaking and lobbying for women's rights to vote. In 1912, she became the field secretary of the National American Women's Suffrage Association and was among the thousands of suffragists at the 1913 suffrage march in Washington, D.C. After she was elected to her first term in Congress in 1916, she continued to work in women's rights as well as other areas. While in office, she supported the federal women's suffrage amendment, measures to protect women workers, mothers, and children, and abolish prostitution near army camps. She campaigned for legislation to promote maternal and child health care and to regulate the hours and wages of women workers. She also opened the debate in the Susan B. Anthony Amendment in 1917. She also worked towards peace during her terms. After only a few days in the Senate, she voted no to the U.S. entry in World War II. She worked with the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom and the National Consumers League. After her second election into office, she voted no on declaring war against Japan after the attack on Pearl Harbor because she believed that Roosevelt deliberately provoked the attack on Pearl Harbor. She continued her work even after her term in Congress. She promoted peace until her death in 1973. She traveled worldwide to promote peace in 1968. She led a protest of more than 5,000 women in demanding U.S. withdrawal from Vietnam. She also continued helping women. She tried starting a women's commune on her Georgia farm and was interested with the liberation of third world peoples. In conclusion, Jeannette Rankin has done a lot to promote peace and women's rights. As the first woman elected to the national legislature and with the work she has done while in this position, she has opened the door for many women across the world to follow her footsteps in trying to change the world for men and women alike.